Today's episode is absolutely crazy. Imagine this: 100 people trapped in the middle of the wild.
No comfortable beds, no restaurants, no internet.
And only one goal.
Survive.
Some people are survival experts.
And others can barely survive one night without Wi-Fi.
Today, we will follow a huge survival challenge inspired by a famous YouTube video to Mr. Beast.
With teamwork, drama, hunger, arguments, storms.
And surprising lessons about human behavior.
You will also learn real English expressions about emotions, teamwork, survival, and daily conversation.
And before we begin,
If you enjoy learning English through fun stories and easy conversations,
don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and share this episode with your friends and family.
all right, take a deep breath.
Imagine you are standing in the middle of a huge forest.
And let's begin.
Okay, Emma, imagine this. You wake up early in the morning, you walk outside, and suddenly you see helicopters, cameras, huge backpacks, and 100 nervous people standing in the middle of the wilderness. Honestly, I would already want to go home.
You would not even wait for the rules.
Nope. The moment I hear the word survival, I disappear.
Well, in this challenge, 100 contestants were dropped deep inside a huge forest. No hotels, no comfortable beds, no restaurants, and no easy way out. Only trees, mud, rivers, insects, and cold nights.
And probably very strange sounds at night. You know those sounds in forests? Everything sounds dangerous. A small bird suddenly sounds like a giant monster.
Exactly. And before the challenge even started, people already looked nervous. Some contestants were excited, others looked completely terrified.
I would be the terrified one. I need snacks every 2 hours just to survive normal life.
Well, the contestants were divided into two teams, the blue team and the red team. The blue team was full of survival experts, people who knew how to build shelters, start fires, find food in nature, and survive outside for long periods of time.
One woman casually said, "The longest time I stayed in the forest was 3 months." 3 months? Emma, after 3 hours outside, I start searching for Wi-Fi.
Meanwhile, the red team was made of beginners, regular people. Some had never even gone camping before.
That makes me feel better. At least I would not suffer alone. Haha.
But the beginners had one important advantage. Before the challenge started, they were allowed to go shopping. They could buy useful things for survival: water, ropes, blankets, lighters, food, camping supplies, anything they thought might help them survive.
Now that is my kind of survival strategy. Shopping first, panic later.
Some people bought smart things. One contestant bought a huge keg of bottled water. Another bought fire starters and camping tools. Others bought snacks. Lots and lots of snacks.
Which sounds smart at first until you eat everything on the first night, which honestly I would definitely do.
Meanwhile, the blue team did not prepare at all. They were only told, "You're going to compete in a Mr. Beast video." That's it.
So they arrived with random clothes and random bags?
Exactly. One expert even said, "I packed for every climate because I didn't know where we were going."
Imagine preparing for snow and suddenly ending up in a hot, muddy forest full of mosquitoes. That sounds like a nightmare.
But the experts stayed calm, very calm. While the beginners looked around nervously, the experts immediately started planning. They studied the land, looked at the trees, checked the water, and discussed where to build shelters.
That's the difference between professionals and normal people. Professionals say, "We need insulation and structure." Normal people say, where's the bathroom?" Haha.
And slowly, reality started to hit everyone. This was not a game inside a studio. This was real survival. Cold nights, hunger, exhaustion, stress, and teamwork would decide everything.
And honestly, Emma, at that moment, I think everybody realized one thing. This challenge was going to become much harder than they expected.
As the sun slowly started to disappear, the forest became colder and darker, and suddenly, everyone understood something important. They were really going to sleep outside. No hotels, no warm rooms, no soft beds, only the forest.
That moment must feel terrifying. During the daytime, people probably felt excited, but nighttime changes everything, especially in the wild.
Exactly. The experts immediately became very focused. Some people collected wood, others gathered leaves and branches, and everyone worked together to build shelters before darkness arrived.
Meanwhile, the beginners were trying their best, but honestly, some shelters looked a little questionable.
Very questionable. One group built a tiny shelter that looked more like a children's play tent than a survival camp.
Honestly, if I built a shelter, it would probably collapse before I finished building it.
One contestant actually joked, "Luckily, I'm short enough to fit inside."
That's called positive thinking.
Exactly. But the experts explained that shelters were extremely important, not just for comfort, but for survival. The ground was cold, rain could arrive at any moment, and without proper insulation, people could lose body heat very quickly.
See, this is why survival experts scare me. They say things like, if we don't build correctly, we lose body heat. I say things like, can I have another sandwich?
But despite the pressure, many people stayed surprisingly positive. Some contestants laughed while working, others tried to motivate their teammates, and a few people even seemed excited about the challenge.
Probably because it was still day one. Nobody was hungry yet, nobody smelled terrible yet, nobody was arguing about beans yet.
Exactly. But when nighttime finally arrived, everything changed. The temperature dropped quickly. The forest became silent, except for insects, wind, and strange sounds in the distance.
No, thank you. I already sleep badly in my own room. Imagine sleeping in a cold forest while hearing mysterious noises all night. Absolutely impossible.
Some people could not sleep at all. The ground was wet and uncomfortable, their clothes felt cold, and many contestants realized they were not mentally prepared for this experience.
One contestant said, I'm exhausted, dehydrated, and wondering why I'm here. Honestly, that sounds exactly like me after one camping trip.
Meanwhile, the beginners had one big advantage. Many of them had sleeping bags, tents, and extra supplies from the store. So during the first night, some of them were actually more comfortable than the experts.
That must have been frustrating for the survival professionals. Imagine spending years learning wilderness survival and then losing to somebody sleeping inside a giant camping tent with snacks.
Exactly. But the experts stayed calm. They knew something important. The first night is only the beginning. Real survival becomes harder after several days, when people become hungry, tired, emotional, and mentally weak.
And little by little, as everyone tried to sleep under the cold night sky, the excitement of the challenge slowly disappeared and reality finally arrived. Okay, Emma, now we arrive at the real enemy. Not the cold, not the rain, not even the insects. Hunger.
Yes, at first, many contestants did not take the food situation seriously, especially the beginners. They opened snacks, shared candy, ate chips, drank sweet drinks, and enjoyed themselves like they were on a picnic.
Which honestly sounds amazing for the first 2 days, but terrible for day 4.
Exactly. Some contestants ate almost all their food very quickly. They thought, we'll find more later. But survival in the wild is not that simple.
And suddenly people started realizing, oh no, I actually need this food.
Meanwhile, the experts were much more careful. Instead of eating everything immediately, they focused on finding food in nature. They searched for edible plants, berries, fish, and safe water sources.
One survival expert was teaching the others like a nature professor. Here's a plant you can eat. Here's how to trap fish. Here's how to survive without snacks. Honestly, very impressive.
One expert even built a fish trap using sticks from the forest, while the beginners tried fishing too, but mostly caught garbage instead of fish.
Imagine being starving. You pull your fishing line out of the water and it's just an old boot.
But as the days passed, hunger slowly changed people. Their energy became lower, their moods became worse, small problems suddenly felt huge.
That's very true. When people are hungry, everything becomes emotional. Someone says good morning and suddenly another person says, "Why are you attacking me?"
And that actually started happening. Some contestants became frustrated with their teammates. Others started hiding food. Some argued about how much people should eat.
One person wanted to save food carefully for the future, while others wanted to eat immediately because they were exhausted. And honestly, both sides kind of made sense.
Exactly, because the situation became physically and mentally difficult. People were burning energy all day long, building shelters, walking through the forest, searching for food, carrying supplies, and sleeping badly at night.
So even one apple started feeling incredibly valuable.
Yes, at one point, contestants became excited over tiny amounts of food. An apple, a small vegetable, even plain rice felt special.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting at home complaining because my pizza arrived 5 minutes late.
Yes, one contestant admitted, "I'm hungry all the time." Another said, "I can't stop thinking about food." And honestly, the hunger became one of the biggest emotional struggles in the challenge.
People even started dreaming about restaurants. One person talked about waffles for what felt like 20 minutes.
Yes, and slowly, hunger revealed everyone's personality. Some people became kinder, some became more selfish, some stayed calm under pressure, and others completely lost control emotionally.
That's what makes survival challenges so interesting. You don't just learn survival skills, you learn who people really are when life becomes difficult.
Beautifully said, Tom.
Thank you. I become philosophical when I'm hungry.
Just when people thought the challenge could not become harder, the weather suddenly changed. Dark clouds filled the sky, the wind became stronger, and everyone realized a huge storm was coming.
That is the moment where I officially quit. The moment I hear thunder in the middle of a forest, I'm gone.
And the scary part was, most contestants were already exhausted before the storm even started. They were hungry, sleeping badly, cold every night, and emotionally stressed. So the storm felt like one more problem on top of everything else.
And storms in survival situations are no joke. At home, rain sounds relaxing. In the forest, rain sounds like danger.
Exactly. The wind became violent very quickly. Shelters started shaking, leaves and branches flew everywhere. Some contestants rushed to reinforce their shelters before the rain arrived. Others simply sat quietly, looking nervous.
I can imagine everyone thinking the same thing. Please don't let my shelter collapse.
But for some people, that is exactly what happened. The rain started pouring heavily. Water entered shelters, blankets became wet, clothes became soaked, and several shelters started falling apart under the wind.
That sounds absolutely miserable. Wet socks alone can destroy my happiness for an entire day.
One contestant said, "Our whole shelter looked like it was going to explode." Another said, "I'm losing my mind." And honestly, you could see how mentally exhausted people had become.
Because now there was no escape from the cold. Everything was wet. The ground was wet. Their bags were wet. Even the places where they slept were wet.
Exactly. Some contestants tried hiding under tarps. Others squeezed together inside tiny shelters to stay warm. And many people simply stayed awake through the nights because the storm was so loud and frightening.
That must feel endless.
When you're cold and tired, one night probably feels like 3 nights.
The experts handled the storm better in some ways because they understood survival techniques. They knew how to insulate shelters, protect important supplies, and stay calm under pressure. But even they struggled emotionally.
And meanwhile, the beginners faced a different problem. Some of them had tents, but the storm was so strong that even tents started breaking. One contestant said their tent completely disappeared in the wind.
Yes, and after hours of heavy rain, the temperature suddenly dropped. Everything became freezing cold. In the morning, some contestants woke up surrounded by frost.
That's terrifying. Imagine surviving heat during the day and then freezing at night. The body must feel completely destroyed.
Many contestants started questioning themselves. Some said, "I can't do another night like this." Others became emotional and wanted to quit immediately.
And honestly, I understand. At that point, it was no longer just a YouTube challenge. It became a real test of physical and mental endurance.
Exactly. The storm changed everything. Before the storm, people were uncomfortable. After the storm, people were desperate.
And I think that's when the challenge became truly serious. Not just survival for fun, but survival under pressure.
Beautifully said, Tom.
Thank you. I sound wise today because I'm sitting safely indoors with snacks.
You know, Tom, after watching everything happen, I think the most surprising part of the challenge was not the survival skills. It was the teamwork.
Yes, because at the beginning, everyone expected the experts to dominate easily. They knew how to build shelters, find food, start fires, and survive in terrible conditions.
But something unexpected happened. Many of the experts struggled to work together.
Too many strong personalities. Everybody had experience, everybody believed their method was the best, and slowly, small disagreements became big arguments.
Exactly. One person wanted to save food, another wanted to share it. One person wanted to organize the camp one way, another person disagreed completely. And because everyone was exhausted and hungry, the tension became worse every day.
It's interesting, right? You can be very skilled individually, but teamwork is a completely different skill.
Beautiful point, Tom. Meanwhile, the beginners surprised everyone. Even though many of them had little survival experience, they often supported each other emotionally. They shared food, helped build shelters, encouraged tired teammates, and tried to stay positive together.
I noticed something important. The beginners kept saying things like, "We can do this together," while the experts often sounded like, "No, my way is better."
Exactly. And over time, that difference became very powerful. Because in difficult situations, people need emotional support just as much as survival skills.
One small act of kindness can completely change someone's mood, especially when they are cold, hungry, and exhausted.
Yes, sometimes contestants shared their last pieces of food. Others comforted teammates who wanted to quit. And even during stressful moments, some people still tried to make each other laugh.
Which honestly feels very human, because when life becomes difficult, people either become divided or they become closer together.
Exactly. And another interesting lesson was trust. The teams that trusted each other more usually stayed calmer. But when people started hiding food, keeping secrets, or acting selfishly, the group became weaker very quickly.
At one point, some contestants were more stressed about their teammates than the forest itself.
That's true. And I think the challenge showed something important about leadership, too. Being loud does not always make someone a good leader. Sometimes the best leaders are calm, patient, and good at listening.
Yes, because during stressful situations, people don't just need instructions. They need stability. They need someone who helps the group stay united.
And in the end, the biggest lesson was simple. Survival is not only about strength, not only about intelligence, and not only about experience.
Sometimes survival is simply about helping each other.
Exactly. And honestly, that may be the most important lesson from the entire challenge.
Also, never eat all of your snacks on day 1.
Tom,
I'm serious. That's survival wisdom.
As the days continued, the challenge slowly stopped feeling like an adventure and started feeling emotionally exhausting. People were tired all the time, hungry all the time, cold all the time, and eventually, emotions started exploding everywhere.
Honestly, I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. Put 100 stressed and hungry people in a forest, and eventually somebody's going to argue about beans.
And that is exactly what happened. Some contestants argued about food distribution. Others became angry because they felt ignored by their teammates. And a little problem suddenly became huge emotional battles.
That's what lack of sleep and hunger do to people. Normally, someone says, "Can you move this bag?" And you say, "Sure." But in survival mode, you hear, "You have betrayed me and my entire family."
Exactly. At one point, contestants became upset over apples. Another argument started because of a tarp used for shelter. People accused each other of being selfish, controlling, or lazy.
And the funny thing is, many contestants were probably good people normally, but stress changes behavior.
Very true. One contestant even admitted, "I don't think survival is the hardest part anymore." The emotional pressure became just as difficult as the wilderness itself.
And some people completely lost patience. You could hear frustration in their voices. Some walked away from arguments. Others started crying. And a few contestants simply decided, "I'm done."
Several people used emergency flares to quit the challenge, and every time someone left, the mood changed again because contestants were losing teammates and friends little by little.
At the same time, there were also surprisingly funny moments. Even during stressful situations, some contestants still joked around, made funny comments, or tried to keep the group smiling.
One contestant kept doing backflips randomly to improve morale.
Honestly, that's iconic behavior. Imagine everyone arguing dramatically and one guy suddenly doing gymnastics in the background.
Another contestant became emotional because she missed milkshakes. Someone else talked about waffles for several minutes, and suddenly everybody started discussing food instead of survival.
That's when you know people are mentally exhausted. Nobody's talking about winning anymore. They're talking about pancakes.
But despite all the drama, you could still see strong emotional connections forming between people. Some contestants comforted each other after arguments, others apologized sincerely, and many people admitted they were learning difficult lessons about themselves.
That part was actually very interesting because survival reveals personality very quickly. You see who stays calm, who becomes selfish, who helps others, and who struggles emotionally.
Exactly. And sometimes the strongest people physically were not the strongest emotionally, while quieter contestants surprised everyone with their patience and kindness.
I think that's why people love watching challenges like this, not just for the survival part, but for the human behavior.
Beautifully said, Tom.
Thank you. Also, after watching all this, I've decided I will survive exactly 1 hour in the wilderness, maximum.
Part 7, the final result. After weeks in the forest, everything finally started coming to an end. The contestants were exhausted. Their clothes were dirty, their bodies were tired, and mentally, many people had reached their limit.
At that point, nobody looked comfortable anymore. Even the strongest contestants looked completely drained.
Exactly. Some people had lost a lot of weight. Others were barely sleeping. And everyone was thinking the same thing. When will this finally end?
Honestly, after that many days in the wilderness, even a normal shower probably feels like winning the lottery.
Then suddenly, the challenge changed completely. Both teams were given one final mission. Somewhere inside the opposing team's camp, a flare gun had been hidden. The first team to find the flare gun would gain total control over the ending of the challenge.
That instantly changed the energy. Suddenly, everybody became excited again. People started running through the forest, searching under shelters, checking near trees, looking absolutely everywhere.
And the pressure was enormous because whoever found the flare gun could decide when the competition ended. That meant strategy became very important.
One contestant even said if they find it first, we might lose everything. And honestly, that tension felt real.
The beginners tried to organize quickly, but their search became a little chaotic. Some people ran in different directions, others forgot the plan completely. Meanwhile, the experts stayed more organized and focused.
That's where experience really helped them. Even under pressure, they stayed calmer.
And finally, after searching through the forest, one contestant from the blue team found the flare gun.
The reaction was incredible. People started shouting, running, celebrating, and suddenly everyone realized this challenge was finally over.
After 20 difficult days in the wilderness, the final numbers were revealed. The blue team still had more people remaining, which meant the survival experts officially won the challenge.
And honestly, they deserved it. They suffered through storms, hunger, arguments, cold nights, and emotional pressure.
But the red team also impressed everyone. At the beginning, many people thought the beginners would fail quickly, but they survived much longer than expected.
That's actually my favorite part of the story, because the beginners proved something important. You do not always need perfect skills to keep going. Sometimes determination, positivity, and teamwork can take you very far.
Beautifully said, Tom. And even though the blue team won, both teams learned valuable lessons about survival, trust, leadership, and human behavior.
Also about never wasting snacks, very important life lesson.
Tom is still thinking about food.
Always. But honestly, Emma, I think the biggest victory was simply surviving together for so long. Because after everything they experienced, cold, rain, hunger, stress, and emotional exhaustion, just reaching the end was already an incredible achievement.
Exactly. And when the contestants finally left the forest, you could see relief on everyone's faces. Some people cried, some laughed, and others simply looked shocked that it was finally over.
And I think everyone watching had the same thought. I'm very happy to be indoors right now. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
And if you did,
Please subscribe to the channel
leave a comment telling us, could you survive in the forest?
and share this episode with your friends and family.
Because learning English is more fun together.
Thank you so much for listening. I'm Tom.
And I'm Emma.
Keep learning,
Keep smiling.
and we'll see you in the next episode.